I wanted to have a section of this interview that was very practical because we're talking about, I think your book is does an amazing job about making creativity feel simple, feel obvious, feel very practical in terms of how you can apply it and how you can do it. And so I picked out 4 laws, and you alluded to this earlier, that were really interesting to me, that felt like if somebody listening only kind of took away these 4 laws, they'd kind of get a lot out of the conversation. And we'll talk about each of these for a second, but at a high level, they are how you define the problem, how you gather inspiration, how you limit yourself to try to force creativity, and how you publish imperfection. So in many ways, this is a little bit of a reiteration of what we talked about. But I want to start with this first law, which is the law of precision. And I love the title of it. Anyone who's a designer knows that if you're not precise in terms of what you're trying to create, get yourself into a lot of trouble. The law is, you say in the book, sharpen your understanding of a problem through investigation, peel back the layers until you are left with a single question that, when answered, resolves the heart of the matter. What else do you have to add to the art of precision, and why is precision important to creativity?
Yeah, there's a lot to that. And I love that you're pulling this up. So creativity is often described as problem solving, and it's part of it. The real definition is the practice of ideas, and that can manifest in many ways. But problem solving is one of those ways. But the key thing is about problem solving is that problem solving is 1/3 of the process of solving problems. And I believe we even touched upon this earlier in a different way with inspiration. But the 2 steps that need to happen before you do problem solving is, first you need to have problem seeking, and then problem sharpening. And then you have problem solving. So when you're defining the problem, creating deliberate and separate steps for those. So I like to, in the book, I talk about Tesla and how Elon Musk and Tesla have really evolved self-driving cars. And so initially, they first asked, how can we make cars drive themselves, right? And you would think, wow, that's a great question. We're going to solve that. And so what they realized is that for a car to drive itself, it would need to parse the road and on the fly rather than a given directive. And so it went from how can we make cars drive themselves to how can we help cars to read the road. And then when they had that question, they realized, oh, we can read the road, but there's so many variables. How is a car ever going to figure it out? And they connected them all, and they made the neural network. And then the real question became, now that we know how to make them read the road, is how can we help cars learn so that they can do this? And I'm sort of jumping around, but eventually it became, how can we help cars learn from each other? And so we have this exponential growth of information sharing that eventually allowed Tesla to really do self-driving cars. And so that is an example of they seek a problem, they sharpen the heck out of it, and then they were able to solve it. And that's the law of precision.